Welcome to our facility. Thank you for your patience in the parking lot. As you can see, we are almost done with our project of landscape. We're very proud of what we've done so far and almost done, right, Mark? Yeah. Okay. Right thing to say, Mark. Yeah, welcome to our quarterly meeting. With that, we'll go ahead and do some roundtable introductions. And why don't we're not going to start with Uten. Cecilia, why don't we start with you?
Bailey, I'm the assistant city manager with the city of Costa Mesa. I started last week.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Welcome.
I'm Andrea Mark, just kidding. Lauren Gimrouse, Costa Mesa City Council.
John Stevens, Mayor of the great city of Costa Mesa.
Raman, Public Works Director, Costa Mesa.
Paul Schoenberger, General Manager, at Mesa Water.
I'm Hester or Fritz Petropoulos from Mesa Water District.
Jim Atkinson, Mesa Water District.
Fred Bachmiller, Mesa Water District.
Shelley Humphrey, Director of Transportation, Newport Mesa.
Jeff Trader, Assistant Superintendent, Newport Mesa, and Dr. Smith wishes he could be here. He was honored last night at USC, and then he's got a conference today, so.
Crystal Bagman, Board Vice President for Newport Mesa.
Scott Carroll, General Manager for the Costa Mesa Sanitary District.
I'm Bob Uten, actually the past president, not the vice secretary.
Art Perry, Costa Mesa Sanitary District.
Bob's always got to get some kind of joke as a professional stand-up comedian. And actually, weren't you on America's Got Talent? Yeah. He was last on the list. How about our folks from Orange Coast College? You guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Rua Barriga, Director of College Community Services, Orange Coast College.
But Mike.
Michael Toe, District Director for Assembly, County Petrie Norris, member of the CAC.
Kay Barkman, City of Costa Mesa Government Affairs. I started in October. I'm Ryan Bloom, Orange County Recycling and Recycle Home.
Anybody? Anybody over here?
Brock Coward, City of Costa Mesa Community Relations.
And we have some members of the public, I see. Gentlemen, I'm Mike Schaefer, current president of the board for the Costa Mesa Sanitary District. They couldn't stand Uten anymore, so they put me in office. Public comments this time set aside for public comments. Anyone from the public wishing to speak? All right, seeing no one, let's move on to our items, and we'll start with Costa Mesa Sanitary District. Our Adams Avenue Sewer Grade 5 urgent repair, and we're going to have our district engineer, Mark Esker, make that presentation.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here bright and early on a Friday. I know everybody likes to be somewhere else on Fridays because it's sort of an unofficial start of the weekend. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank city staff. I've recently had the opportunity to collaborate on a couple of projects with the city, and I want to say that city staff has been very responsive and very helpful on those projects. This project, we're going to do I'll say a quick little project over on Adams Avenue, just east of the Santa Ana River. Mesa Water might be interested. The school district, I'm not sure if you have any bus schedules or anything that goes through Adams. I know definitely the city will be interested because of traffic control and some, work that traffic impacts that we might be incurring as a result of our project. Next slide. I just want to say that we need to perform some a sewer replacement project in Adams Avenue. We have, I'm going to say about 5 feet of sewer that we have to remove and replace because it's absolutely failed. We're in the process of designing the project. We'll bid it. In fact, I think it's out to bid right now, and then we'll construct the sewer project next. I guess, yeah, design is complete. and bid opening will be, I think it's February 10th or something like that. We plan to award the last week of February, and we plan to have this work wrapped up. I'd like to get it wrapped up March 15th, but certainly by the end of March we'll be done. And the reason, I'll tell you why we have to get done in a second, but this is sort of what's happened out on Adams. See how there's a big chunk of the sewer pipe removed? Well, that has happened, but it's in the bottom of the pipeline. Next slide. So this is the overall project location. The city will be repaving all of this starting sometime in April, I believe that's the date. So this is Santa Ana River. This is Mesa Verde West, Placentia, and we're just adjacent to the Estancia Park area. Our project site is next to our Adams Pump Station. I can't remember how many feet it is from the Santa Ana River to the pump station, but it's just east of the Santa Ana River. Next. Yes, sir.
That's where the mayor lives. Right on the Mason-Dixon line, north and south of Helton.
Okay, we're going to zoom in a little bit. As you probably all of you know, Adams is a very heavily traveled roadway. There's 3 lanes going eastbound. There's 3 lanes going westbound. There is bicycle lanes on either side, and there's sidewalks on either side of the roadway. About between the 4th house and the 5th house in, but along their back fence, we have a pump station located mostly in the sidewalk area. It does encroach into the roadway, but it's buried underground. You really don't see anything but an electrical panel that's up along a block wall just to the north side of the sidewalk. We have a sewer. This sewer actually extends between these houses and takes all the sewage from this area north of Adams Avenue. There's another sewer line from the manhole that's located just west of our pump station. It goes due south almost to the bike lane. Then from the bike lane, it goes easterly and accepts all the sewage from all of these properties on the south side of Adams Avenue. And so we'll be working in this general area right here. Next slide. Now, this is my crude hand sketch of what we're going to be doing. This is the center. I'll call it a center median, but it's really just striped at this location. So we have a sidewalk, we have a bike lane, we have the number 3 lane of westbound traffic, we have a number 2 lane, which is the center lane of the westbound, and then we have the number 1 lane, which is closest to the center line, and then likewise on the eastbound side. So this is a view or a cutaway, I'll say, of Adams Avenue looking towards Huntington Beach or looking westbound. Our sewer crosses Adams from the south side of Adams to the north side into a manhole. Then from here, it goes, I'll say, out of the screen and into our pump station. Our pipe broke just into the, I'm going to say, bike lane of traffic in Adams Avenue. And as a result of that, and particularly with the impending deadline for the city paving project, we're going to race out there and get this project done as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, because of the location in the bike lane and because we have to dig down about 20 feet. So think about us digging a hole that's as tall as a 2-story house. That's what we have to do out in Adams Avenue. And so I imagine, or I vision, that we are taking at least the number 3 lane of traffic, the bike lane and the sidewalk to do this work. Our plan right now, it's a plan. We're still working through a couple of things, and we'll have to firm this up before we grab the city permit and work with the contractor, the lowest bid contractor. But we're hoping that we could work, I'll say, between 8:30 and 3:30 every day, and then we would plate this in the evening and restore the 3rd lane of traffic. That's what our plan is. But depending on, you know, the soil conditions, if there's groundwater, we're still doing a little bit of research on that, because if there's perch water or groundwater, that's going to complicate things. So we're in the process of doing some of that, even though the project's under bid right now. If we find that there's groundwater, perch water, we will definitely have to do an addendum, and that will raise the cost. But right now, we're thinking this project will be about 100,000, maybe a little bit more. So we'll see what we can do to expedite this work. But anyway, so basically for the city, for the possibly school district, if you have any buses, we will be causing, I'll say, potentially traffic delays. We will be our plan is to cut this down to 2 lanes of traffic during the middle of the day. For the utility companies, of course, we'll do dig alert, but I don't know if Mesa Water has anything in this north side of Adams Avenue. I know Edison does, so we're working with them. I believe the gas company also has some utilities in Adams Avenue, so we're working with them. So anyway, that's kind of what we're planning to do.
Talking to OCPA?
Haven't yet, but we will, because I understand they have some bus lines down. Yeah, so anyway, work hours. As I mentioned earlier, we plan to work from 8:30 to 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We do need to work out a couple of refinements with the city of Costa Mesa. We right now envision closing the sidewalk, so I think it's Mesa Verde is where we're going to have to divert pedestrians to the south side of Adams and then around. We will also have to use, typical construction tapers and traffic control lights to remove people from that number 3 lane into the number 2 lane. Because we're only taking 1 lane of traffic and not 2 lane of traffic, we think it's going to make the project last about 2 weeks or so. And so we're hoping to reduce that, and we will work with the contractor to reduce that. But if we had more room to get dump trucks in and out, it would go a little faster. But we also have to balance getting the work done with impacts to, our ratepayers. We thought about work at night, but with the private residents or single-family residential right behind us, we thought that wasn't a good thing, because at night we could probably take more traffic and do some work. But again, depending on what the contractor says, whether we found grind water or not, we'll have to readdress that with the city of Costa Mesa. Next slide. And with that, I'm available to answer your questions, or if the city has any comments, happy to try to discuss them. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a comment. So Mesa Water, we're aware that the city is also going to be doing the project and much needed on Adams, doing the paved project. So that's fantastic. We have a couple of valves, mainline valves that are close to needing to be replaced. And so we're coordinating with the city right now on doing those valves also. So Adams is going to be a busy place between sanitary district, the water district, the city, and we'll coordinate through the city to make sure everybody's all synced up.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
So I understand that a lot of crap flowed out of the mayor's thing here because he was coming from that area right into that pump station. Was that the reason?
It's not just me, Frank.
I understand, but
The whole neighborhood over there.
Yeah, but my point was more about the perched water that you're talking about. Might that be perched sewage, actually?
No, I don't believe it is, because if there is groundwater or perch water, water's going into the sewer, not out of the sewer. Because the hydraulic grade line of the water would be higher than the sewer.
Okay, so you've actually got potentially enough pressure there. Well, I wish you the best of luck. I worked a city engineer kind of job at UCI. We had a deep hole like this, and it was the gift that just kept on taking.
Oh, trust me,
The $100,000 project turned into 250,000. So
yeah, we certainly understand groundwater. We had an emergency project on Ballerino, and I'm certain we caused the city of Costa Mesa a lot of heartburn over that one, because we had Ballerino, I don't want to say all the way closed, but we were down to 1 lane in each direction for, I'm going to say, almost a month. So
yeah, we had a similar kind of thing, but it's not fun. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you got that smart aleck remark in about.
Well, it was a setup. I thought he was setting all
I
up
was-
for that.
I was going to say the same thing, but I'm glad you got it, Fred, not me.
So it was just, one more question is this pump station the one where you guys did that kind of innovative thing with the resident, where you have that for your standby generator access.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a great idea, so
It,
it really worked out well.
we were having a lot of issues with our folks working on the pump station, having to block off that first lane on Adams.
Right.
And we did an easement with the resident to put our connection, our pump connection out on the street in front of their house, and it really worked out nice.
Yeah, down by where the mayor lives, that's where the connection
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that's, that's right.
But we couldn't do a big enough connection at the mayor's house, so.
Yeah.
That was actually a recommendation by one of our staff members to do that. So one of our field workers made that recommendation. And so the board rewarded him for that, gave him like $1,000 and rewarding him for that innovation. So it worked out great.
No, it was a good deal. And I remember it was at one of these meetings I heard about it. It was very nice.
Anything else, sir?
Not for me.
Ma'am?
Is there an interruption in the service to the residents?
No, we don't plan on an interruption. The biggest part of the project will be, I'll say, digging the very deep hole to get down to the pipeline. But once we get down there, we can very quickly we'll put a stopper in. We'll work with the contractor, have vacuum trucks out there, but he can get the pipe out and in probably in a couple of hours or less. So there shouldn't be any interruption to the consumers or the ratepayers of sewer service, because we've got that handled. They'll do the work. I don't want to say live, but we've got that all planned into the project. Anything else? Thank you very much, everybody.
Item 2, I think, is probably an item of interest to a lot of us dealing with the OCC Recycling Center, and I'm going to turn it over to you first.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as everyone knows, the community's beloved recycling center has been closed for several months. In fact, there was a story, I think, in the Daily Pilot not too long ago that describes some of the challenges that they're facing. A couple months ago, the board directed me to reach out to OCC official to see what we can do to help start things going, maybe help what we can do to help reopen the recycling center. So for a couple of months, I've been meeting with Dr. Rich Pagel and Ruben Moraga, who are here today. And I invited them here today to share with the group the discussions they're having with a third-party operator. And there might be light in the tunnel, but I don't want to burst any bubbles right now. So I'm going to turn over to Dr. Pagel, and he can explain to everyone who they're discussing with and when or if possible, the center could be opened again. So Rich, why don't you come over here?
Pick him up here,
Yeah.
Rich.
Thank you. The room. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Rich Pagel. I'm the Vice President of Administrative Service at Orange Coast College. Pleasure to be here this morning. Really appreciate Mr. Carroll for inviting us over. And so I know all of us, I've lived in the community a long time, been at Orange Coast for 25 years. And many of us have worked with the recycling center. Just maybe a little history. So 1970, our students started the recycling center at Orange Coast, first Earth Day. And our students, great students at Orange Coast, very active. Sustainability is one of our values. So students started the recycling center, and it ran. When I came, it was in an old Santa Ana Army Air Base shack, and then we developed it into a kind of a trailer, and then it got developed into what you have today, which is a great facility, outstanding facility. And I don't know if you know, but the recycling center hasn't always made profit, and it's struggled, and our students have oftentimes covered the costs of the recycling center. God bless, you know. And the last few years, since the pandemic, it's really struggled. I think recycling has changed. We had to close the center an entire year. When we opened, the volumes just weren't where it was prior to the pandemic. And so our students, they were able to help year and a year again. And then last May, they passed a resolution, their student government passed a resolution for the campus to take a look at the recycling center to see what we could start to do to make it into break even, you know, so the students weren't taking their student funds and putting it towards this important recycling center. So looking at it, you know, the same time we've had staff out there that have been out there for decades, great staff. And I don't know, you know, Mike Carey is one person that I'm thinking of right now, and Leo, it was just a great staff out there. Opportunities open up, retirements happen, new job opportunities, coinciding with a hiring freeze at our district for the last 4 years. So all of this sort of transpires at the same time as our students are saying help and employees are taking other opportunities. So we find ourselves in November of last year, and the last employee that we had out there took another opportunity. So we didn't have really anybody to run the recycling center except for our students. Makes it very hard to operate because we can't have students out there by themselves operating. It's just too much of a liability for us. So after a lot of discussion with the campus, we had and our student government, we had to make the decision of temporarily closing the recycling center. Very painful because we've operated it since 1970 again, our students. And then we needed to find a new approach to this facility, a new partner. And that's where we're at today. So our district is in the process of crafting an RFP to go out and to seek a third-party operator to come in and operate this facility and to be a good community partner, to go along with our vision and our values of sustainability. We have great classrooms close by, so the educational mission's right there. That's our core competency is education. And I know many of our partners around the table, your roles and responsibilities are going to be valuable partners as we bring this back on. So that's where the college is at right now. Our students come back next week. They are back on campus, so we'll be in front of our student government talking about this RFP concept, talking about the recycling center. We'll need to include our student government because they funded it during all those kind of rough years, and it's important. It's a learning opportunity for them as a government to how to operate like a government and to be responsible with this. But we also understand that the community, I personally take all of those community calls that come into Ruben's office. I take them, I call them back, I hear them, and there's a lot of concern. There's a lot of love for this facility. I was talking with a veteran just yesterday, 80-some-year-old veteran talking about how he's been taking his recycling there for years. And that's just heart tugging. That's what we want to do in the community. And we'll get back at it. But right now it's a temporarily closed. And so that's the latest update. I will say that we have interest from third-party operators. We also have interest from Supervisor Foley's office. She's going to be coming on late next week, Katrina. And we do have state senators that are want to participate and help on this too. And we know we have community partners like Mr. Carroll and others that have reached out to us and said, how can we help open the center? I can take any questions you have right now. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Oh, I'm just only 2 months behind the sanitary district. So I wanted to get this on the agenda on behalf of the city because I talked to our city manager and, I don't speak for the council, but I think the council would be supportive in as much as one of our council goals is sustainability. And this, I'm sure most of the people you're getting phone calls from are residents of the city of Costa Mesa.
They're local residents and they've been using the facility for a while.
So I guess I knew this at some intellectual level that this was subsidized or paid for by the students. I don't think this type of community service should fall on the backs of students that are trying to get an education. Half the city, we want to be partners. And so in whatever way that is now, could be funding, we have, obviously we've got staff that could be redirected, whatever we can do. Now, I know you've got a lot of people reaching out and we want to work together with our partners, but consider the city a partner. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Rich had a question. So we have our folks, we do the solid waste collection, of course, for the city. And we have a lot of folks who are so used to going to Orange Coast College, including my poor grandkids who are not getting the money that my wife saves collecting cans. So who are you guys referring folks to go to? We get that all the time. We get phone calls here.
Yeah.
Where do we take our recyclables?
Yeah.
And we're not, we don't keep track of
Yeah.
those facilities.
Yeah.
Who are you guys recommending folks go to?
So
the
there's
interim?
some local around us. There's one in Huntington Beach. There's one up north. I'm looking at a gentleman in the back right here and who runs one of those. And so that's who we're referring them to.
Okay.
And they are seeing an uptick in their volume.
You are getting the phone calls as well.
I get I get all my faculty are all recycling. They personally talk to me about what am I going to do with these cans, Rich? They're sitting in my garage. My wife's, and so that's my conversation on a regular basis. And the little kiddos, with the cans and they want to drop them off, so it's, I feel the pain of the community and at the college, our students take it seriously too. I mean, this is one of their passions that all students get around. It's really unique to see the students get around the sustainability effort and they really dig into it, but they just can't fund it and the college, unfortunately, is not in a position to fund it. We're in a hiring freeze. We've been in that hiring freeze for 4 years. So it makes it difficult just to run the operations. Not to say all of us have challenges, but that's just, so our world right now. And please invite us back, please, if we can ever be more of a help. Again, our RFP timeline, we're trying to get it out on the street as quick as possible. And we have to work for our student government. They're back next week. We'll work through them and then we'll get it out on the street. And then hopefully get an operator in here ASAP.
What about an interim solution though? I mean, what if we went in and in partnership or something like that, provided staffing, provided some funding to get it open like next weekend? All right.
Open to that. The staffing is what we need.
Right. So we have people working for us. We've got whatever, 400 and some odd people working for us. So let's make it happen.
That's something, I mean, it's all, if you all have operational staff that are available, our students, they typically help run the center. Cycle right now for those new students. We usually run about 40 students out there because they only can work so many hours. But we need the operational management and the staffing to do it.
I have
So-
a statement.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bloom. I'm the president of Orange County Recycling and Recycle from Home. To answer your question, most of the people from OCC are coming to my recycling centers now.
Yeah.
And because of the name OC Recycling, they conflate us. And the question we get every day is, when are you guys going to reopen in Costa Mesa?
Yeah.
And so we've been talking to these gentlemen and with hopes that we could participate and help because we are industry experts. We've been doing recycling for 20 years. Great standing with Recycle. In fact, you have been approved in Costa Mesa to do our new program, Recycle from Home. We've been working with Salem in your environmental sustainability. We have an application pen with Recycle to do an innovative pilot program, which is at home pickup. It's like Amazon and recycling mixed together. We think that the OCC facility would be wonderful for that process to happen and come back to there. We'd love to step in any way we can. We've got operational staff ready to go, equipment, industry expertise. And so we're here to help. We'd like to get involved in the RFP process also and ultimately be there in perpetuity. But we're here to help. If you guys need something temporary, we'll step in tomorrow.
We normally operate like most governments by request for proposals. Then we have a selection committee, and that way, normally that's how we normally have operated in the past. So that's the process that we're normally used to, which doesn't always expedite things, unfortunately. But it's how we've operated as a district, but always open to temporary emergencies and working with our board. That would be the requirement. We'd have to have our board involved and our student government, of course, but more than willing to work on it.
Are you you're the point person?
Yes.
Who's the point person from the city? Salem Afaworki, do you know her?
Not,
Okay.
but I know the gentleman
gonna-
sitting right next to you, Raj.
Yeah. You'll probably get a call from her today.
Fine. I will give you a business card. You can take this is number on this. And
Yeah. Sounds good.
that is how to get a hold
Thanks.
of me. Sure.
So OCC was recycling before recycling was cool.
Yeah,
And
first
I-
Earth Day.
And I think this is really great because now I know where the little cans, so there's a picture of me, my first picture in the newspaper was me and three other kids at Newport Heights Elementary holding a can and I'm holding I think it's a Bud beer can, putting it into a recycling bag in my little Cub Scout uniform and then or Indian Guides uniform. And it was so funny, but that's And that's where it was, because it was the first Earth Day, so this 1970, so I always wondered what happened to those cans, you know, that we collect.
I would
So
imagine,
they probably ended up over.
and it's probably still in use.
Yeah, yeah,
The can is probably still out there.
it probably is out there, yeah, yeah.
Coming from the generation of before cans, and we had nothing but bottles
Bottles, yeah,
and scrounging the alleyways in Laguna Beach looking for pop bottles.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, those were good old days, yeah, where they were reusable. You'd get you'd go and you could just turn them in and they could be reused directly.
look at me, I bought a lot of candy. All right. I think the point person for us is either gonna be Scott or Marissa, but we'll leave that up to you guys. We appreciate you being here this morning and, it's a good update. It'll be curious as we go through our rollout of our third can, our 1383 blue can. We're gonna have to do some adjustments because folks are gonna start recycling more at home.
Yes.
So we need to get that dialogue going as well.
Yeah, that'll impact all, yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
City staff, Raj, are you in charge? You are a legend, so why don't you take it?
Well, I want to thank Mark for your comments on city staff collaboration. You know, we always do that and we love to partner with you. So just want to, just off topic, but related to this on bike stuff, Adams Avenue is going to see a lot of changes over the next few years. Actually, it's going to take some time, starting with the paving project that's going to happen now. But we partnered with OCC, with Rich on another project at Adams at Pine Creek, where we are modifying the intersection to improve access, bike access, ped access to OCC. So that's going to start pretty soon too. So we're excited about that. So having said that, let's talk about the bike projects. Do you want me to let you know? Just move over next one. So bike safety education. We are partnering with of course Newport Mesa in this project. It's a city-funded project to implement bike safety education. And it's at all the schools in the city. Next slide. So council awarded a contract to Walk and Rollers. They did an event a few months ago at Estancia High School and it was pretty popular. And we're going to do that bike safety education to all the elementary school, middle school, and high school kids in Costa Mesa. And it's basically developing an evergreen. By that, what I mean is it's going to not just end with this contract, but that education material will be available in perpetuity. There'll be training materials and videos, bike safety classes. As I mentioned, all schools will have this, but what we're doing is going above and beyond that, not just educating the children, but bring the families also. So the kids and the parents together to learn about the bike safety, e-bike safety and all that. And then we're going to have in each district, we'll have a community-wide bike safety classes. So this will be launched, if you go to the next slide, we're going to start with the curriculum and material is underway right now. We're going to start a pilot class in spring at a couple schools and then roll out classes in the fall of 24. So the next school year is when you'll see this taking over and having all these community events and all that stuff. Any questions on that one? With that, I can move to the next project, actually the next item on the agenda, which is
All yours, man, careful.
Safe Routes to School Action Plan. So the city received, in the next slide, the city received a federal grant, almost $700,000 of federal grant, 630,000. So to do this project. So in this one, what we are looking at is what improvements are needed at each school along the routes that kids take. And these are definitely focused on sidewalks and bicycle access, but we also look at the roadways too to see how we can make it safer for everyone. And there is, the RFP is going to be released pretty soon, in a couple months, and we are already seeing a lot of interest because people see this, that consultants calling us about being to be part of this one. So this is 630, there's a 20% federal match, so it's almost 750, $800,000 project. So it's a big project. Now, what this does is the federal new transportation bill has this funding, and they want us to do this action plan. Once we have the action plan, then they'll fund the construction phase. So we apply for grants again, but we have a very good chance of getting construction funding, again, federal grant to implement the project. So it's a good program that we're going to start. Next one. So basically the work will involve, we'll do a walk, what we call walk audits. So we actually walk each school with experts and look for improvements that need to happen. And we'll invite the school community, the parent, the teachers association, even some students could be part of this. And we always do walk to school events now at pretty much every school. So this will be much more glorified of that one. So now we are looking at specific improvements at these schools, and the project will develop some conceptual plans that we can take and get more grants for to complete the project. Next slide. Now, just talking about e-bikes, that's the next one on the agenda. So e-bikes are definitely something that we should be, I mean, there is a proliferation. There is a lot of people are buying e-bikes, buying it for their kids. And not everybody knows what the rules are. So we need to go through, if you go to the next slide. So we need to go through not only educating the people riding the e-bikes, but even we need to kind of get educated from the city side, from our police department side on what is how we can enforce it, what are the rules are for these e-bikes, and they keep changing. So the state just passed some guidance on vehicle code changes. So we are using all that information, and then we are working with our PD to update our municipal code on these changes. The electric bike is not even in our municipal code, for example. So we need to put that in and add that in language in our municipal code. And we also want to make sure that we roll out a education campaign on these e-bikes, not just, we don't want to be just enforcement. It should be education too. So that's something that we are working with our internal communications team to what we can inform people about what we can, what to watch out for. I mean, as motorists, I mean, when we drive on streets, we need to be careful because you'll see, kids or adults even riding bikes and they blow through stop signs, but they're coming at a much faster speed. So we need to be aware of that. And we have to educate even the people riding the bikes to be careful about how they should be riding these. And of course, there are bikes on sidewalks, and it's one thing to have normal bikes on sidewalks, but no bikes on sidewalks. How do we, what are the rules on that? So we are working with our police department on that item too. With that, the next item is on.
Hold on one second. Hold on.
Yes.
So on e-bikes, I just want to say a couple things. It's definitely a concern of mine, a concern of a lot of residents. And so I've been talking to the chief about, what are the parameters of bringing the municipal code structure is going to come to the city council. So when it comes to the city council, stay engaged, talk to us if you see anything, especially folks from the school district. So I have some views on this, and if you agree with them, great. If you disagree with them, tell me, whatever. Number one is I think we should Huntington Beach has gotten out front in this. They've done municipal ordinance. I think we should try to be uniform, Costa Mesa, Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, so that as an e-bike is traveling through our region, they don't have to have different rules apply. The other thing is, I think, who doesn't love education? raise your hand if you don't like education. But I do believe that the best education, in my experience as a parent of 4 children and a years ago, a little boy that got in a lot of mischief, the best education is enforcement, right? Once those kids get a ticket, or even adults get a ticket, that's the best education, you know? Back in the day, right? You know, if I get a ticket, I bring it home to my mom or dad, they say, well, you gotta pay for it. And that bike or that e-bike, you're not gonna be able to ride it for 3 weeks. I would learn, right? So maybe I sound like a hard guy, but I think it's the best thing. Tough love sometimes. And I think that's the best thing in terms of community parenting. So like, if you feel strongly about that, let me know. I obviously feel strongly about it. So anyway.
100%.
What we've seen, with the enforcement side, it's definitely because the parents have to go with the kid when they have to go to the court and see with the ticket. So that becomes very impactful. And a lot of it is, parents are giving their kids e-bikes because they're tired of shuffling them around by the time they're 13. They're like, well, they're kind of independent. They can now go to school. And so you see that's when they're getting that e-bike, but they're still teenagers and there's still that like mentally developed mind, right? So they're not all making the right decisions. So having that parent there, we have seen that when the students get a warning first, that kind of helps so that they don't really fear or hate cops in the beginning. And then that enforcement, and especially with the helmet piece, the speed, all that kind of stuff that we've had. And I just wanted to just, I guess, ask the question, making sure when we're talking about safe rides to safe ways to school, that we're thinking about our cities or our schools like Whittier and parts of our East Side Costa Mesa going into Newport, that they would go out in various cities so that we're communicating the safe ways into, in and out of both cities, I think would be make sure that we're partnering with the cities on that. But the e-bike safety, I think it's great. You guys did an amazing job at Estancia this past fall or spring. And looking forward to more of that kind of partnership with the schools. So thank you so much for doing that. But yes, e-bikes, on my way here, there was kids crossing the street and, it's just, they don't care if doors are opening and they're going to get hit. Like a lot of times they hit parked cars, truthfully, and that hurts them obviously when, anything, but yeah, it's a big issue. So any type of things the city can do to help out with the kids, that'd be great.
It's funny though, but you can't just blame the kids for it. So funny story, went up to Paso Robles last weekend. And it's for my wife's friend lives in Santa Clara. It was her birthday. And my wife says, oh yeah, Jane's got this great idea. We're going to take e-bikes when we go wine tasting.
Oh, so you go a little sideways, huh?
It was like, well, what could go wrong there? I said, that sounds like, it was her 60th birthday. I go, that sounds like pretty poor judgment. I said, I don't think I want to do that. And so we didn't do that. We rode the e-bikes and then we had a designated driver. It was fun and it was more responsible and everybody was safe. But I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Jim, you had a question?
Yeah, I'm a little confused. E-bikes are motorized bicycles. And I thought there was a law that you had to have a helmet on when you rode a motorized bicycle, motorcycle, scooter, anything like that. And the number of kids that I encounter going back and forth to, medical appointments and so forth, it's unbelievable. The number of kids out there that are riding these things and some of them going as fast or faster than traffic. Not wearing helmets.
I live on California Street and we're close to Moon Park or Suburbia Park, whatever official title is. And folks come off that bike trail. And I like to sit out in my garage a lot because I have a habit that my wife won't let me take indoors. And so I sit out in the garage and I watch these people cigar smoke. I saw that look. These kids go up and down California Street coming off the bike trail. And I wish my Jeep went as fast as that e-bike. It's It's unbelievable. And then usually on the weekends, we get a group of about 100 kids who come up California. So, and I don't know what group this is, but it's a regular occurrence where and they're all on e-bikes. And the thing about the helmets is only the driver has to wear a helmet. The other three that are on the bike with them. That's, to me, that's as scary as anything. When you see these e-bikes, I go by Tewinkle School every morning and there's 2 or 3 kids on an e-bike. John, just on the enforcement thing, I concur with what you said 100%. And I have a situation where in the city of Irvine, there's a motorcycle cop in the city of Irvine who's related to me. And he is in charge of the Irvine PD's e-bike program. So Jason goes from school to school and does e-bike safety classes. And he has said that very same thing, that city of Irvine's a little different than Costa Mesa. I think we all know that. The parents in Irvine don't like the fact that their kids get tickets. They fight them. Well, you know that, you know what I mean? But the enforcement part of it, Jason's a big believer in that. And he sees that all the time, that the kids that get the tickets, he never sees them again. So I think you bring up a really valid point, and this e-bike thing's a tough one.
Ticket's nothing compared to the consequences of getting into an accident on an e-bike.
No question. No question. Now, when he does his classes, these kids in the class, they get a sticker on their bike. And apparently they can't take their bikes to school unless they get this IPD sticker on their e-bike.
We have that at Ensign, where they have to take a training program before they can bring their bike on campus, and they get a sticker, and then we find that that's really impactful. Now, one of the biggest age group that starts getting an e-bike and then they don't know how to use it is when like the new 7th graders, because then that's when they're getting that. So that education of the 6th graders going into 7th graders would be really impactful at that age, because they're just like, oh, freedom, and then they're taking it to school and they don't know what to do. Their, helmet's not on tight, their friends in the back. So that kind of thing, we found that once those kids kind of get that education and that, fear in them and that early on, then they tend to be better stewards of their e-bikes. But yeah, the e-bike gangs too. Yeah, that's big that you see those. Yeah.
They listen to different music than I do, I can tell.
Yeah, it's the safety. There's so many kids that, and at pick up and drop off, I should say, parents picking up, making sure that they're aware, making sure you have a dedicated bike lane, and try to figure out how you can, this is all for your safe rides, safe ways to school, but making sure that the bikes go a different way than the parents picking up the students and all that kind of stuff that we can work on together. But it's very impactful, and making sure that they're safe when they at least leave our campuses. That's what we think. And, we can't control them every day. Every hour of the day, but we try.
Like, so yeah, they definitely do generate a lot of passion. Yeah.
Good morning. If I recall, when my kids were young, we bought them a bicycle. We live in Costa Mesa. We went to the fire department to register the bike, and they give us a sticker, and at that time we paid a fee, and the fire department give the kids a pamphlet on safety rules and all the like. So my suggestion is really simple, is every bike need to be registered, or maybe go to the school districts and inform them that bikes need to be registered, and have some kind of joint mutual program where they register, at the same time getting a pamphlet or education or something to that nature to educate these kids. The hardest part is when somebody go against traffic with bicycle, they get on the sidewalk and you're driving, you want to go right lane, and somebody coming on the electric bike coming through the sidewalk, it's very dangerous. I've seen it, and this is my suggestion, is what happened with the fire department where we had to go and register the bike, or something that the city used it.
So, again, the laws have changed. So the registration requirement is no longer a law now. So it requires that it's a voluntary program now. If you register a bike, there is no requirement that you have to register. So the laws, we used to require the registration before, and no, it's no longer the case.
There is no requirement to register a bike.
No, it's state law. Yeah, state law, yes. Um, I think I will definitely be partnering with school district. I think enforcement is important. I think working with school district, for example, if somebody gets a ticket, they cannot bring the bike to school, for example. I mean, that'll go a long way for parents to now realize there's an issue. And again, enforcement goes both ways, one for the bikes, but again, for the motorists too, we need to make sure that as motorists, there are some violations that people are not aware of that they're making. So like separation of space between bikes and how we drive, for example. You need to go to the next lane if it's available. So like that rule has to be enforced too. So we need to look at everything in this context. With that, so we'll come to council sometime in next month or March with change ordinance, and we'll keep you posted on that.
Important to not just the kids. And so if you were to sit at the intersection of Monrovia and 18th Street on any particular night, about 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning, what you will find is the cooks and dishwashers from the restaurants in Newport Beach who come up on their bicycles wearing dark clothing, no lights of any kind, riding the wrong direction on the street, riding on the sidewalk. And this happens every night. And there's just no enforcement of it at all. And a few times I've been out at night and nearly clobbered one of these individuals because they just simply ignore any form of traffic rule. That stop signs mean nothing. And they just continue right through the middle of the street. And the only reason you see them is they happen to go under a pool of light from the street light, and you're like 8 feet away from them before you actually see them, because they're literally wearing dark clothing because it's their uniform. So we need to be much more proactive and absolutely heartless in enforcing the rules of the road for bicycles, because it happens every day, all day, continuously. And it's just by good fortune that no one has gotten killed. They ride the wrong direction, completely ignore stop signs, stop lights, yield signs, rules of the road, anything, and do whatever they want. And then you get the guy who's driving along and he's smoking something. And you get the trail of skunk smell behind the guy. Literally, I'm driving the car and I'm smelling marijuana in my car, and it's coming from a guy riding a bike. You know, the marijuana ordinance did not make it legal to smoke marijuana in public, but it happens all the time. So, and the other one is messaging. You look at this lovely photo we have here with a young lady there wearing bicycle flats or flip flops, riding on the wrong side of the road and no helmet. I think our messaging needs to be a little bit better in terms of in uniformity, quality of messaging regarding bicycling and how we do things. And just everything we do needs to be about following the rules of the road. Bicycle has literally every rule of the road for a car, and you must follow it, stop, especially with e-bike. Used to be you could say, well, you're pedaling your bike and you kind of got to get through a stop sign and there's nobody around, you probably get away with it. E-bike has a motor. There's no reason you shouldn't stop at a stop sign. So if anything, I'm a little further on the enforcement side than our mayor, at 100%.
Yeah, I don't think it's heartless. It comes from a place of love.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I still would like to hear that we're doing something about the enforcement of the helmet law.
Yep. 100%. So it's
I
a
mean,
problem.
The number of kids out there riding these e-bikes without helmets is unbelievable. I mean, like I said, I go down toward Hogue and back a couple of times a month, and I see these kids all the time. And it's you know, it gets a little frightening with their behavior on the road. Not all, but most of them.
Well, they hang them on their handlebars until they get close to school, then they put them on, but they don't fasten them, so they're pointless. It's a whole thing, is they can't come on campus without the helmet, so they put it on, but that's it, yeah.
So all this information is gonna go to the police chief,
Good,
everything everybody said.
good.
Because Cecilia's been taking very careful
He's
notes.
he's diligent over
And,
there.
I'll send
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, no, this is, this is important because, sometimes you land on things during the agenda. And, we get information, we know what's the priority. I mean, this is a priority with you folks, so it's good.
I wanted to tell Cecilia, this meeting is being recorded and you can listen to it. To enhance your notes.
That's good. Yeah.
Thank you.
You didn't know you were on TV, did you?
But I'm always on every other Tuesday, right, along with the mayor and council.
You want to talk about wire?
Yeah, so the copper wire theft, it's unfortunate, just want to bring it up because it's something to be aware of that's happening in our community. And it's not just our community, actually. I talked to other engineers in the county and other places, and it's a proliferation that's happening, unfortunately, throughout. It's right now, if you go Joanne Street and Cornerstone Bike Trail, which is along Harbor Boulevard, you'll see that every single bollard that's almost all of them that provides lighting for pedestrians and bicyclists, it's the top is broken off. Somebody damaged it, vandalized it, every single one, almost. I mean,
Where was it?
along Joanne Bike Trail.
Oh, yeah,
and-
okay.
And also along Harbor Boulevard. If you go between Merrimack and almost up to the shopping center where Home Depot is, on the right side, there's a
Sure.
bike trail.
Yeah.
All the bollard lights, they just used a bat or something and then they knocked the light off, the bollard. And not only that, they stole a lot of the copper wire that goes underneath supporting power to those lights. So right, you'll see that's dark right now. Joanne Trail luckily has Edison tall poles with lights on them, so there is lighting on Joanne Bike Trail, but not much on this Cornerstone Bike Trail. But we are working on that. But then not only that, all these parks, Canyon Park, Moon Park, Vista Park, Marina View, Fairview Park, and Geisler, all of them have wires stolen. Tiwinkle Park Athletic Complex, even that got hit. It's right now, a few of the poles are dark and we're working on fixing it before the start of the next season. We are making repairs at some of the locations, not everyone at this point. And then we are modifying the pull boxes to make it more, welding it together now to some of the access points. So we're making our efforts to minimize future theft like this. And we are working with PD. You'll see some cameras going up. There'll be increased patrols and we're going to pass out more messages for community to be aware of this happening. We had one person was caught based on the messages we put out. Confessed to a couple of these crimes, but then, it's still happening. So I know school district got hit over the winter break, so it's not just the city. It's just to be aware of, and if anything happens, let us know and our PD know, and so that we can be tracking this, so.
On that issue, one of our pump stations, Geisler Pump Stations, which is down by the Santa River, just north of the golf course at the intersection of Geisler and Iowa. We had somebody try to break into our electrical, and we're presuming that it was to get the copper. We reported that to the Costa Mesa PD, of course, but we also reported it to Water Emergency Response Organization of Orange County, WeRock. It's an organization of water organizations. And they brought out the county sheriffs and talked to us about it, and they brought in the FBI. So you might want to have your PD coordinate with the county sheriff, because there have been reports, I know our agency reported it to them, and they're finding it throughout Orange County. So there is I'll say a higher level of enforcement be looking into this as well. So perhaps coordination could be helpful here.
Level handle?
Okay, so I just have a brief update on school field use. The city has been working with the district and the schools to open 3 or 4 West Side schools for field use. They are Ray, Whittier, and Wilson. Our deputy city manager, Alma Reyes, had an opportunity to meet with all the principals, address their concerns, make sure there's security on the site so that the school operations can continue without any interruption. And all is going very, very well. We want to thank the district and the schools for their partnership in all of this. There is one school that's pending, and that's just based on the need for additional collaboration due to some after-school programming, but we're hoping to have a 4th West Side school field open and available to the public. But overall, it's been a huge success. As I said, great collaboration, and we can't thank the district enough for willing to work with the city on this. And the fields have had a lot of use, a lot of activity, and the residents and the kids who are using them are pretty pleased. Okay, thanks.
All right, next item, school district. I don't know who's on board with this one.
It coincides with what we were just talking about.
Yes.
They could do.
We appreciate the partnership and the effort the city has taken to help secure those areas.
Yeah.
Do any of those 3 schools have a rocks program?
Yeah, Wilson, right? They all have rocks program, but it's basically keeping the fields open for the community. Yeah.
But you have, can't get into the schools with the rocks program unless you check in. You get your kids. So I just wondering how that's gonna coordinate. Just thought,
Well, these are used on the weekends, right?
oh, just weekends?
Maybe.
Okay, not during the week. Oh, okay.
Depending if you have after school programs, right? Programs going on to like 6 or something, so that wouldn't be open. Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
I mean, if you add it all up, that's a lot of acreage, really, when you think about the schools, and then we did Luke Davis Field, we opened that last year, thanks to the advocacy of Councilmember Camaros here. He broke a couple eggs to make an omelet, and
No legs,
eggs, yeah.
Want that used against me.
So, and then also Harper Park, which is, something that's been Harper Park, Harper School, whatever, which we've been working with the school district to address that. And so that's a little bit of a wobbler, right? Because it was open and then we closed it and then we opened it again. So I don't know if we could take credit for that, but that's a lot of open space. Add it all up. So maybe we should do some type of a joint press release or something and get them all the information and, when they're open and the acreage and what you could do there and things like that.
And we appreciate you guys working with us on the park ranger for Harper Park.
Yes.
Making sure that the park is clean and people are behaving there with their dogs and and we look forward to doing that with the other schools that we open as well, just to make sure there's no damage to the actual, school facilities and those types of things. But
We talked about this, the Harper Park thing at the meeting at the city. So the Harper Park, it's the little area, it's all owned by the school district, but the little area in the front is a park the city maintains. And then there's a big field, this is all on the east side, a big field, and then right next to it is a school. It's a charter school and then a school that helps with developmentally disabled, really adults in their last few years of school. So the school district shut down the big field, and then we were able to work it out. And the solution, the workaround is now we have, when it's open, a park ranger there all the time at least, I don't know, that's for the first 6 months for sure, to see if we can modify the behavior. People with dogs and dog poop and running around and things of that nature that was, disrupting some of the students. So we're working as best we can. So thank you for that. That's the update. We talked about that, I think, at one of our last meetings. And so,
We haven't had any complaints, so. Do his job. Thank you.
yeah, it's great when a plan comes together.
Always. Paul, I think you guys are next.
Yes, Mesa Water, we have a very important staff position, which combines the water use efficiency and our education. It's the water use efficiency and education coordinated position. So water use efficiency, working with citizens on the rebates and to save us our conservation practices and our schools and community education programs. So I'd like to introduce our new coordinator, and this is Hester Fritz Petropoulos. And she comes to us from the Vector Control Agency. So we figured if she could sell mosquitoes, she could probably sell water. That'd be good. She is a credentialed teacher, a published children's book author, and is going to be running the Huntington Beach Half Marathon next week. And so we're very happy to have her. And so she's going to be kind of a community facing position. And we're going to give her a little time to kind of settle in and understand the area and the position. But then over the next few months, I'm hoping you'll be able to coordinate with all of these agencies here. All the good things everybody did forward. So this is Hester Fritz Petropoulos, and if you get anything you'd like to say.
I'll just keep it brief. Even though it's Hester, my friends call me Fritz, so feel free to call me Fritz. That's what I've been used to. Orange County resident. I've grown up here and taught in local schools for over 15 years. Switched to Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District. Developed education programs there. They had really nothing, and so I was there for 7 years. And I'm very excited to switch from standing water to 100% local, clean and reliable water. So I'm really excited to learn. I started in January as well. So it's been just a couple weeks. I've learned a lot, but there's really a lot more for me to learn. And I'm very excited to bring water education to our youth, but also adults. So keep our center in mind as you're thinking of creative places to learn and have meetings. And I'm very excited to work with our residents to not only save water, but help residents save money. So we want to really streamline that rebate process for residents. So I'm available for questions. I brought my business card if you want to file that away. And it's just really lovely meeting you all. So thank you.
Congratulations, you got the catchphrase and you've only been on the job 26 days or whatever it is. That's really good. Way to go, Paul. Way to go, Paul.
Remember the Schick Shadle indoctrination?
Yeah. All right, that pretty much takes us to the end of the agenda. Is there anything else? Raj, I have a question for you. So a week ago Sunday at about 10:30 or 11, the northeast part of Costa Mesa exploded. I don't know if you guys are, if anybody made you, something's going on with fireworks in that part of, in our part of town. And Fritz, you're looking at, did you hear him too? Did you, Lauren? Well, yeah, you would for where you live, yeah.
It was, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, and then there was a big deal up in LA last week where they had a huge fireworks demonstration that nobody knew about. Any idea what's going on other than people like to hear big, loud noises?
PD would have followed up on that.
Yeah, you guys, okay. Just curious. Sir.
So you just asked if anyone had anything else. I'd just like to talk very briefly to just give everybody here an update. I'm working with Dr. Smith to try and put together an an apprentice, a pre-apprentice program to try and get some of our youth into the construction trades. Right now, the industry is booming. It's blowing up. I'm signing up people almost daily right now. Starting wage in the building trades is somewhere between $30 and about $36 an hour. I'm signing people up, probably 3 a week, $35 an hour starting wages. They're working at LAX, they're working at Ontario Airport, all the light rail projects that we have, freeway work. I know we have a lot of discussions about trying to get people into homes and how do we get them to afford homes? And the one thing I really push is wages. We can get them to make the wages. So I just want to let everyone know if they want to collaborate in any way, please feel free to come to me. I'd be happy to hear any suggestions. I'm working hand in hand with the school district right now. Lisa Snowden is working out a program as we speak so that we can have an integration into this opportunity for our youth when they get out of high school, that they can get into what's called a train and ready workforce opportunity where they learn through college accredited instructors how to become pipe fitter, a welder, certified welder, bricklayer, carpenter, iron worker, whatever it is. We also have great program opportunities for women in construction. The program that I oversee personally is our inspection department. It has the highest ratio of women to men in the whole state of California. So there's opportunities for every single person coming out of our schools to have a great livable wage and absolutely be able to own a home in the city. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, if there's nothing else, then we'll.
Just on February 3rd, we have a dump day for anybody who is interested. It's at the senior center. It's in partnership with Assemblywoman Coty Peter Norris office and Caltrans. You can bring any stuff that you want to dump, and Caltrans will be there to take it away. So it's at the senior center on February 3rd.
Yeah, Jim, you mentioned the senior center, Raja. Just so all of you know, 2 weekends ago, one of our local Lions clubs and the Lions Club from Laguna Niguel put on a free eyeglass clinic at the senior center and advertised it by word of mouth and through some of our Lions Club channels. But they were able to serve over 300 local folks get used eyeglasses. And it was absolutely amazing thing. So thanks to the city for letting the Lions organization use the senior center. It was very impactful, and a lot of folks now can see a little better when they get on their e-bikes. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I recently had occasion to have a Sharps container at my home. And I think the Sand District used to have a drop-off center for Sharps containers. And I understand now that you don't. And I guess there's a place over in Huntington Beach that I can go drop them off, but I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of this container with.
CVS Pharmacy is accepting Sharps containers as well.
Well, that's interesting because I asked them, I go there a couple of times a month to pick up prescriptions, and I asked them and they said no.
We'll take a look at that. Well, we'll see what that situation is, because we were told that CVS would accept Sharps containers.
I go to the one on Baker Street, 1150 Baker.
Okay.
We also have a door-to-door program that accepts Sharps containers. So if you're a CMSD customer, you can call CRNR and they'll pick it up from your home.
Yeah. They'll actually come to your house and pick it up. I forgot about that. So, but I want to check on the pharmacy thing because we need to find that out.
Yeah, well, that would be terrific. I mean,
So one, I don't know if you guys saw on social media or whatever regular media that the governor was in Costa Mesa on last Thursday it was. And he was there for a press conference to open up the Mesa Vista home key project. We didn't convert the developer, community development partners converted 87 units, single room occupancy on Newport Boulevard. It used to be a Motel 6. If any of you want to learn more about that project, if any of you want to take a tour or whatever, let us know. We can connect you with the developer I think it'd be good. There's a lot of misinformation about the project. It'd be good for people to see it for themselves.
Okay, we're adjourned. We'll see you at the school district in April. Thank you all very much.